because we have a tornado, a large tornado on the ground that's approaching Abilene at this time. This video is from Matt McCune. He's part of Severe Studios, and I've got the rights to show this now, but you can see a very large, violent wedge tornado that's on the ground right now, moving through Dickinson County. This is approaching towns like Abilene, and Chapman is going to be in the path of this as well, and the tornado warning continuing for Dickinson County for that storm. But again, Matt is live on that, and you can see that this is a big, powerful tornado very close to the town of Abilene at this time. So we're going to keep that video up as much as we can and let people know where this is going, but that's the latest position on this. So if you guys need to move programming over to 13.2, please do that. But this is a big, violent, nasty tornado making its way through Dickinson County, and ultimately this will be heading toward areas like Junction City, could be in the path of this. We could be looking at Fort Riley in the path of this. But again, it's confirmed large tornado that's on the ground. It's been on the ground for a while now, and it's the only storm really going right now. Most of northeast Kansas is dry, but this thing right along I-70 has a big, powerful wedge tornado on the ground just southwest of Talmadge, and it's making its way eastward at about 20 miles per hour. So this is very close to Chapman at this time, very close to Abilene at this time as well. But again, it's a very large confirmed tornado that is on the ground. You can see the rotation showing up on our velocity mode here just northwest of Abilene, a couple of miles. I'm going to take you back over to the live video feed. Again, this is from Matt McCune of Severe Studios, and he is following that huge tornado that's still on the ground there in near Abilene. I'm going to take this to another view so that I can make that wide screen for you. There we go. All right. All right, so a confirmed large, violent wedge tornado that's on the ground right now. This is going to be just to the southwest of Talmadge, near the town of Abilene, and this has extremely strong rotation showing up on the velocity mode right here on our radar. This is the location just north of Solomon, and this is likely going to be a strong tornado. We're not looking at a small one here. This is going to be a very dangerous tornado moving through that area. So on the radar again, you can see Chapman very close to that, as well as folks that are going to be around Chapman and Abilene. Certainly both are in the path of this. I'm going to bring this video back up for you again. I want to show you full screen. I had it cropped off there for just a moment, so I don't want that. There's the tornado again. This is just northwest of the town of Solomon, just northwest of Abilene. A very large tornado that's on the ground right now. That's a live video feed from Matt McCune of Severe Studios, and this is all tornado from really here to over this side of your screen as well. And I can't gauge how big that is from looking at the television screen here, but that storm very close to Abilene at this point, very close to Chapman as well. So if you're in the Chapman area, if you're in the Abilene area, you need to take cover immediately there. And this storm is going to make its way across Dickinson County and then could be affecting people in Gary County. You may be affected by this. Morris County also could be affected by this. And if it continues making its way eastward, we'll be looking at areas like Manhattan that even could be affected by this storm. It's in an environment where the atmosphere is extremely unstable, and there is nothing out ahead of this to give us the idea that that storm could weaken anytime soon. So looking again at the radar, our Capitol Federal Live Storm Tracker, you can see that white box is where the tornado warning is in place right now. It includes a small chunk here of Dickinson County, but as it makes its way eastward, again, we'll be looking at folks around Junction City that really will have to watch this closely as that storm continues making its way eastward across our area. Again, the tornado warning there for Dickinson County goes until 8 p.m. It's a confirmed large wedge tornado on the ground just northwest of Interstate 70 and continuing to make its way eastward about 20 miles per hour. A lot of folks that have been traveling on I-70 certainly would have seen this. but it's just southwest of Talmadge. That's the location, going to be right here as that storm is making its way, again, eastward across Dickinson County, about 20 miles per hour. Go ahead and look at the track of this making its way east, and we're looking at Moonlight arriving within the next 15 minutes or so. Buckeye, you're in the path of this. Detroit, Kansas is in the path of this as well. And then putting it back into motion. This is not a fast mover, but it is making its way eastward. So folks around Chapman dealt with a tornado, a big one a couple of years ago. This is really coming your direction, and folks around Chapman should be taking cover right now as this storm moves your way. Again, it's not Doppler radar indicated. We have a lot of storms that are Doppler radar indicated, but this one is spotter confirmed and on the ground, and we've seen it several times now. Here's another live video of it. Again, Matt McCune from Severe Studios with this live video of a large confirmed tornado that's on the ground. And you can see the wedge itself. I'm going to draw it on here as well. It's kind of the left side of the tornado and the right side of the tornado. All of that is tornado in the middle of this. Again, that's just a couple of miles northwest of Abilene, close to the town of Talmadge at this point. So if you're in Talmadge or if you're in Abilene, in those areas, you need to be taking cover right now. I'd encourage you to go to the lowest level of your home, get away from windows, certainly put as many walls as possible between you and the storm, and you've got to get under something sturdy if you can in those areas. So if you're in Abilene, if you're in the Chapman area, just outside the warning for folks in Chapman, I'd say if you're in a mobile home, this is the time to make the quick decision. If you're going to get out of there, you need to do it now before the warning actually gets there. You want to put on your shoes just in case if you do have to take cover. You want to have your shoes on. If you have a safe place selected already, if you don't, you need to pick one out pretty quick if you're out ahead of this, and also make sure that your safe room is ready. Do you have pillows and those kind of things ready to take cover if need be? So again, our storm chaser from Severe Studios is moving along with this now, paralleling the storm, and the big tornado still on the ground right there on the left side of your screen. And there it is. You can see there's the side of it. Here's the other side. This is still confirmed on the ground right now, making its way almost parallel to Interstate 70 and moving east. It was moving a bit southeast, but now it's moving east, and it's going to be just to the right of that camera view. So Ian, keep an eye on that, and when Matt brings the camera back around to where it's up on screen, let me know, and we'll put that video back up. So again, on the Capitol Federal Live Storm Tracker, here's the rotation just southeast of Talmadge. A big confirmed tornado on the ground right now, making its way eastward. Folks around Chapman, please take cover now. You are not officially in the warning in Chapman yet, but with a big tornado on the ground right now, I can't imagine any reason that folks in Chapman would be relaxing right now, not thinking this is coming your way. This is a big, powerful storm. Out ahead of it, the atmosphere extremely unstable. Junction City, if you're in Junction City, if you're in the Ogden area, if you're at Fort Riley, we have a lot of folks from Fort Riley that are not from Kansas necessarily. They're from all over the world. If you're in Fort Riley and never dealt with a tornado before, this might be the day that you would have to, but if you're in the Fort Riley area, just a heads up, this is possibly coming your way. So you're not in the warning yet over here. Ogden, Fort Riley, Junction City, even Chapman, you're not in the warning yet, but you are in the path of this big, nasty, powerful tornado, and again, it's confirmed as on the ground. I'm going to go back over to Matt's video here again. Matt McCune from Severe Studios. Looks like he's driving through Abilene here, I believe, and you can see a few other storm chasers out there looking at this storm as well, and he's paralleling this. Actually, the storm is right there over the horizon, and looks like it is continuing to make its way eastward, but this is still on the ground and still a very powerful storm. Again, Matt McCune with Severe Studios is chasing after that storm. So again, if you're out ahead of this, if you're in Junction City, if you're at Fort Riley, those areas that aren't in the warning just yet, think ahead. As this thing starts coming your way, I need you guys to be ready just in case you do have to take cover. It's very possible you will. And again, as we've been looking at the radar, this is a big, confirmed, powerful tornado that's making its way eastward, and the well-defined hook echo showing up there almost to Chapman at this point, and making its way to Junction City is going to be dealing with large hail out of this at a minimum, and possibly dealing with the tornadic rotation. That's certainly a possibility as well. All right, I'll step back out in front of the wall. Looks like Matt's driving through a town there, and you can't quite see past the trees as to what he's got, but this thing's still in the ground. I can kind of see the edge of it, but you can't quite see the full funnel from his video and the vantage point at this point. All right, so here it is in the velocity mode. Red means the radar's returns are going away from the radar, green is in, so your rotation showing up right here on this part of the radar, just north of Abilene at this time. And again, that storm moving awfully close to Chapman in the next few minutes. I really encourage folks in Chapman to be ready and take cover. The warning goes until 8 p.m. For Dickinson County right here. Again, 8 o'clock for this. Buckeye, you're in this. You should be taking cover right now. Moonlight, you should be taking cover right now as well. And the folks in Chapman, you have just a couple of minutes really before this would start moving through. Again, the path in this is about 20 miles per hour, so Chapman 8:12 p.m. is the arrival time for this to make it into the Chapman area. Sutphen, Upland, you'll be dealing with hail that could be up to baseball size with this as well. And then we also have the confirmed tornado that's in this as well. And again, the velocity mode here in our Doppler radar showing that rotation, very powerful, right here just southwest of Buckeye, just southeast of Talmadge at this point, and approaching Moonlight with a very large tornado that's been confirmed on the ground several times. Okay, back to the video. Here's a live feed again coming in from Matt, and you can see the tornado there on the horizon. And we've got the first responders there, letting people, guiding people out of the way. But that's what we're looking at, is the tornado that's on the ground now, and it's moving toward Chapman. Could be in Chapman in the next couple of minutes, but a confirmed tornado on the ground. This is not as wide as it was a moment ago from what I can see, but certainly a very powerful storm still on the ground. And you can see it's not, once they start to weaken, you'll start to see them kind of become almost snake-like in the atmosphere and become somewhat smaller. This looks very firm. It doesn't have any, we're not looking at any pieces kind of breaking off on the sides here. It's not starting to bend or twist, and a lot of times it'll become almost like a wet spaghetti, if you will, toward the end of their life cycle. When they look like this, like you've got a baseball bat standing on the ground, that means the thing is still very, very strong. Everything around it you're seeing is the wall cloud, and then the very well-defined, very powerful tornado right there in the middle of this. Again, this is Matt McCune's video. He's chasing this for Severe Studios, and you can see the law enforcement there on the highway keeping people out of the path the best they can. All right, back to the radar. There's the storm, and the rotation is going to be right here near Talmadge, Moonlight, just southeast of Talmadge and almost the town of Moonlight. If you are in Moonlight, or if you have friends and family in Moonlight, you should call them and let them know this thing is coming at Moonlight right now, and they should take cover in Moonlight right now if they are in that area. So if you're in Moonlight or you have friends and family there, it's time to take cover right now. Lowest level of the building, get away from windows, many walls as possible between you and the storm. Get under something sturdy. Again, for folks in Moonlight, this is coming directly at the town of Moonlight from what I see on the radar. There's the video from Matt again, and he is still chasing this storm as it's approaching the town of Moonlight. And this is live video. This isn't from a few minutes ago or hours ago. That's right now with that confirmed tornado. New tornado warning coming out. Was that a new one coming out, or just continuing it? Okay.
Yeah, this is the tornado is located 4 miles northeast of Abilene, moving east at 20 miles per hour in Dickinson County.
Okay. All right. So we have a confirmed tornado, and it is moving. It looks like 4 miles northeast of Abilene. 20 miles per hour is the speed the National Weather Service is going with this at this time. And so we've got, again, this is moving to the east at roughly 20 miles per hour. Ian, I need you to do this for me. I have a series of texts on this phone. I want you to forward all these pictures to my other phone.
Okay.
my other phone number, please. I'm going to use those, but I can't use them through that phone. All right, so there's the tornado again, a big, powerful tornado on the ground. This is making its way eastward, and it could affect areas like Junction City shortly. But there is the big wedge tornado confirmed on the ground. You're looking at it live on TV right here. Again, that's from Storm Chaser Matt McCune, and he is on this real close and a good view of it. The radar here showing the rotation almost to the town of Moonlight. If you have friends or family there in the town of Moonlight, they should be taking cover right now. That's the one. All right, send them all to that one, please. All right, I'm going to go back over to the radar here and show you some of the streets that are in the path of this. We're looking at the town of Moonlight. Looks like a new warning coming out. All right, new warning, and no surprise there. Does not go into Gary County yet, but most likely it will shortly. All right, so there's the town of Moonlight, and you can see this storm moving in. There's 2800 Avenue, 2700 Avenue, and Jeep Road, and my good friend Mike Cherohouse just got a picture of this tornado near Jeep Road and sent that to me. I'm going to get that up for you here in just a moment. But the corner of Jeep Road and 2800 Avenue looks like that's where this tornado would be right now. And the folks in the town of Chapman and Moonlight are right in the path of this. So Chapman, you know, it's not that long ago. I remember going through that night with you guys, and that big tornado that hit Chapman. This one is awfully close to you guys in Chapman. So the tornado about 7 miles west-northwest of Chapman, and it's making its way eastward. What's that?
That line with Chapman that you just had up.
Yes. You want me to draw it back up there?
Draw that back up there.
All right. Okay, so this is going to be about 8 miles west of Chapman right now. Chapman, you have just a couple of minutes before this will move through. It's moving at 20 miles per hour. And again, back to our storm chaser video, you can see there Matt McCune's video here of the storm that has a tornado that's on the ground, that has been on the ground for quite a while now. Okay, so tornado warning till 8:30 now for Dickinson County. Large, dangerous tornado located southeast of Talmadge, moving east at 20. Is the observation from the National Weather Service. They also say baseball-sized hail is possible with this storm as it makes its way across Dickinson County. So again, if you are in Chapman right now, or if you're in Moonlight right now, you've got to take cover immediately in those areas. Get away from windows, put as many walls as possible between you and the storm, get under something sturdy, and of course, if you can cover your head, that's good as well to help out. And if you're in the western parts of Gary County or Morris County as well, you may need to take cover shortly. The warning does not include Gary County or Morris yet, but as the storm gets closer, think ahead for a minute. Have your shoes ready. If you're in a mobile home, think about, is this the time you want to get out of there? Or you don't want to wait until this thing comes into Junction City and say, this is the time to get out of the mobile home. You should be making those decisions now. And then also, if you have a safe place, make sure it's ready with pillows, weather radio, cell phone, whatever you may need in your safe place in your home as this storm comes through. Again, it's a very powerful storm, a confirmed tornado with this. It looks like it is very near the town of Moonlight and approaching Chapman at this time as well. So we do have, again, a confirmed tornado there, and this has been on the ground for at least a half hour now, if not longer, and we are expecting to see this continuing as the atmosphere is extremely unstable out ahead of this, and probably going to continue as it moves over into parts of Gary County. Hopefully it will start to diminish as the sun is now, as the sun goes down, but as of now it's not showing any signs of diminishing in intensity at all. Here's the latest video clip we have from a storm chaser. Again, Matt McCune is on this, and that's what the storm looks like as it's heading toward the town of Moonlight and awfully close to Chapman as well. That's the classic wedge tornado you're looking at right there. And again, that's making its way eastward at roughly 20 miles per hour. Back over to the radar. Again, this is our Capitol Federal Live Storm Tracker, and we can see that storm on the radar.
They're saying that the tornado is intensifying some of the storm.
That's a different storm. All right, so there's the rotation on this showing up. We have a new rotation that may be developing on the backside of this near Solomon, so we may have another storm developing on this. Possibly another tornado could develop out of this. So what we're seeing here is another rotation showing up near Solomon. So we have a first one that's approaching Chapman right now in Moonlight, a second one right here near Solomon with a tail developing there. That is not a tornado warning at this point, but certainly could become one shortly. So that's one we're going to have to watch as well. Now you notice that the vast majority of northeast Kansas is not under any sort of rain at this time, but what we do have is where the storms are located. This is what we expected. Where the storms have developed, they're extremely powerful. And again, this one with a confirmed large tornado with it that's making its way very close to Interstate 70. Putting us back into motion, you can see this storm right here and the redevelopment along the west edge close to Bennington and Solomon. That's where this is back building is what some folks will call this. And then everything in yellow is the tornado watch that goes until 9 p.m. for much of northeastern Kansas. Okay. Yes, trying to get the connection back to our storm chaser here. It looks like he may be in a data poor area, but I've lost connection with our storm chaser, so I'm trying to get his live video back up here on television for you. We've lost him for the moment, but as we check out, go ahead. What do you need? Okay, is that
damage?
Okay, you sent the other pictures to my this phone. Okay, very good. All right, very good. All right, so again, the confirmed tornado that is approaching Chapman at this point. I'm going to zoom this back in on the radar, and if you're in the Chapman area, you really got to take cover immediately there. If you're in the western parts of Gary County, it's almost that time. If you're just out ahead of this in areas like Willard, you should be ready as this is moving your way. I'm going to put some times of arrival on this as the storm is making its way eastward, roughly 20 miles per hour. Chapman, you've got just a couple of minutes before this would move through. And then Junction City, looks like Junction City would be about 8:30. If this continues on its current path, you have about a half an hour before the actual rotation would move into Junction City. And it looks like my storm chaser video is back up and live here.
They're saying that they report a wedge tornado.
Here it is. Okay, I've got it right here. There it is. All right, tornado's still huge and on the ground. My goodness, that's the video. Yeah, this is a huge tornado. Matt McCune with this live video, and you can see that thing making its way almost parallel I-70, and this is going to be close to Chapman. We do have some damage. I'm not sure what that picture was. Share that with Melissa Brunner, please.
Yeah.
Show her that damage and tell her it's going to be close to the town of Moonlight. Most likely, Moonlight or Talmadge, that area
Moonlight
is where it's going to be.
Right? Moonlight and Chapman.
It's heading for Chapman.
Yeah.
All right, so the live video again, this is what we're seeing, is that tornado, this monster wedge tornado working its way.
Jeremy got this photo.
Ian has his microphone on, guys. Can you let him know? All right, so looking out the window to
Melissa,
looking at Matt McCune's video here. Go ahead and page him. Just page him and let him know that, please.
Oh, hi, Doug.
But that's the tornado that's on the ground right
We got
now,
stuff.
and that's going to be approaching Chapman right now and moving at 20 miles per hour. So the folks that are right there around Talmadge and around the eastern Dickinson County, Ian, your microphone's on, sir. Ian.
It looks nasty. Like it's.
Again, Matt McCune looking at this live video, and that's the storm that's approaching Chapman right now with the rotation and with what looks to be a huge wedge tornado on the ground, not possibly on the ground. That thing is down, and looking out the window there, this is, I believe, right along I-70, and it's obvious this is a big storm and approaching towns like Chapman. So Chapman, you have just a few minutes, if that, before the storm moves through. I'm going to go ahead and zoom this back in again. And the mileage on this, the location of the tornado, we're going to be looking at maybe 5 miles west of Chapman. And the storm chaser there looking at the video along I-70, he's going to be looking out to the north side of the highway. And you can see there's the storm, the tornado. And again, this is getting awfully close to the town of Chapman. Now for folks, if you're in the western part of Geary County, you've got to be ready for this. This is not a storm that looks like it's going to weaken anytime soon. This thing has been going for about an hour now, and it is big. It has a lot of moisture out ahead of it, plenty of instability in the atmosphere, and storms like this that can get up by themselves can continue to rotate. Now, if you have other storms involved that can slow them down, sometimes you'll get into more of a hail or a wind event. But in this situation, that storm is really out by itself, and there's nothing else to kind of mix up the winds or slow things down. So it has an excellent storm structure for a tornado, and there's a second rotation that's developing back to the west of this that could produce a tornado soon as well. So right near the town of Moonlight and near Chapman at this time, that's a large confirmed tornado. Live video of it right here from Matt McCune from Severe Studios, and looking at that as he's traveling. But the storm is getting awfully close to the town of Chapman, awfully close to Moonlight right now. Probably has done some damage in Moonlight. I haven't got a report of that at this point, but most likely we're going to have some damage there in and near Moonlight. Dickinson Fire Department reported a wedge tornado crossed Jeep Road 3 to 4 miles north of I-70 a couple of minutes ago. So we have that. And we have the actual tornado warning that continues until 8:30 for Dickinson County. And I believe this is probably going to make it over into parts of Geary County as well. All right, back over to the radar. You can see Chapman, Kansas Falls, very close to this. It's not far from getting to the Geary County line. That's going to be the probably the next county that would get involved in this would be Geary County, possibly working its way up to the Junction City area. So if you're in Junction City, I need you to be ready to take cover because this thing does not look like it's showing any signs of weakening at all. Putting this into motion, it's moving to the east, maybe a little northeast, but Junction City, Ogden, you should be watching this extremely closely and ready to take cover any minute. Junction City, you may have 20 minutes before this moves through, possibly as much as 30. But folks in Chapman, this thing is right on your doorstep right now. The rotation on this, what I'm seeing, maybe 4 miles west of Chapman, just almost on top of Chapman right now, with a very powerful rotation moving into town. We'll go back to our Storm Chaser video. Again, he is still live on this thing and looking out the window. The video, Matt McCune here from Severe Studios, and he can still see that thing. All right, a little difficult view there from that vantage point, but it looks like it's still likely on the ground from what I can see. It's behind the hill there, obviously. And I'll check back in with him in a moment, see what he's got. But again, this is going to be across Moonlight, and the Chapman area should be taking cover. Now back to the southwest here, this part of the storm, very near Solomon, that rotation is getting very impressive as well. I don't have any reports of a tornado there or funnel clouds or anything of that nature, but it is getting more powerful in that area back towards Solomon. All right, the front part of the storm, still I just got a glance of the tornado again. There it is. Again, this is going to be very close to Chapman at this time. Video a little shaky, but there it is. Again, this is a big tornado. You can see, oh my goodness, that is just a huge tornado making its way very close to Chapman at this time on the ground. And you can see right here, this part is on the ground. You can see the sun on the right side over here, but this is all tornado that's on the ground right now. This is a very large tornado, and it is moving close to the town of Chapman. Could be there in just a couple of minutes, if even that long. So we're going, looks like we'll be going eastbound on Interstate 70 here, along with Matt McCune from Severe Studios. He's going eastbound there, it looks like. So I believe that sunlight would be on the right side. Yep, he is heading that direction. All right, so our storm chaser is going to be approaching Chapman as well here, but that's what folks in Chapman have coming toward them right now is this huge, very powerful storm with a big wedge tornado that's on the ground right now. All right, back over to the radar. This is the Capitol Federal Live Storm Tracker, and you can see that storm with all the rotation right there almost to Chapman. close to Moonlight. We do have some damage in that area. I don't know about injuries yet or anything like that. We're just tracking where the storm actually is in place. But the rotation there on the radar, very evident close to Moonlight, and just a couple of miles from Chapman at the most. Now we're looking at maybe 3.5 miles. Again, this is moving about 20 miles per hour. So it's not an extremely fast moving storm. As a matter of fact, it's been pretty slow.
Jeremy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we have, they're continuing that tornado warning. It's obviously still observed. Hail is 2.75 inches, so baseball-sized hail. And this tornado is located right now 4 miles west of Chapman, moving east at 20 miles per hour still. There's a spotter reported getting close to crossing interstate just east of the Enterprise exit there. So this seems to be continuing to track to the southeast, or to the east rather. So pretty much anyone that is along I-70 to the east of this storm currently not in a safe situation with this developing situation. Just impressive storm here with this and tornado.
Yeah, this is a huge tornado, no doubt, and this is heading toward Chapman at this time. Matt McCune chasing that for Severe Studios as we take this over to the radar. He's turning around, getting into a safer place, it looks like right now. But as I put the radar back up here, you can see Chapman right there in the path of this. And Chapman, of course, hit a few years ago by a monster tornado as well. This one is heading toward the town of Chapman, very close to Interstate 70, and making its way eastward at 20 miles per hour. So Kansas Falls, Junction City is not that far from this. I'll give you a mileage here on this. 15 miles from the tornado to Junction City. You're very close to this. So we're looking at Junction City likely being involved in this the next half hour if this thing continues on its current path and the current strength that it has. And again, there's really no reason to believe that this is going to lose its intensity as it continues making its way eastward. I'm going to put this over on velocity mode on our other computer here, and what you'll see here is the storm. As certainly the velocity is not hard to pick out on a storm like this one. As I play this forward, you're going to see the bright blue bumped up against the bright reds, and the rotation there is indicated by radar returns that are going toward the radar and radar returns going away from the radar. So the bright blues and greens, that's toward the radar right in this area just south of Chapman, and the bright reds are where it's going away from the radar. So we're looking at very powerful rotation, and again, this is moving very close to Chapman at this time and could really affect Chapman at just in any moment now. It's very, very close to the town, and you know, this is a large wedge tornado we've seen several times. Go ahead.
For those wondering, it should also be mentioned that right now this is the only cell that is currently in our viewing area. This is the only one. So this is really just taking all of the fuel, especially coming from just the south of this thing. So this is the only cell right now. The closest any sort of storm is now closer to Wichita, but this is the only current event happening right now. So as the cell continues to track along east on 70. And they did issue a severe thunderstorm warning for Dickinson.
Okay, so a new severe storm warning for Dickinson County. Hail the size of tennis balls possible with this. I'll go ahead and check it out on the radar. And again, looking at the tornado warning going until 8:30. So this goes for the 20 minutes. Chapman is in the path of this, certainly, and should be taking cover right now. Zooming out, we have a severe thunderstorm warning back here for this part of the storm. Also a severe storm warning now getting going in the southwest parts of Clay County. This is going to involve areas like Wakefield is close to this. Clay Center not quite in this warning. Oak Hill, Ladysmith, you're looking at large hail possible with this. And again, this is a new warning being issued for parts of Clay County and the northwest part of Dickinson County, and parts of Saline County also involved in that storm. So we have a severe storm warning right here for large hail. This storm has potential for a very large tornado. It's a confirmed tornado at this time on the ground. And then we have a rotation back here just northwest of Abilene, just northeast of Solomon. This rotation could become another tornado shortly. That's certainly a possibility with that part of the storm. Okay, back to the live camera and Matt McCune chasing the storm. There it is. We still have a confirmed tornado on the ground, large tornado that's close to the town of Chapman at this point. All right, so again, we're looking at this, our storm chaser from Severe Studios. Watching this, you can see the tornado right here on the horizon making its way eastward, approximately 20 miles per hour. For folks that are in Chapman, you've got to be taking cover right now. This thing is almost to Chapman, if not in Chapman right now. I don't see debris flying, but the tornado that's on the ground is just far enough away that the storm chaser was not close enough to have debris flying over his hood and that kind of thing, where you can see in some videos that we've seen many times. But still a very large tornado, still on the ground, still moving eastbound, and still could affect the town of Junction City if this continues going the direction it is. But this is big, it's confirmed, it's right there on the live video. And again, this is going to continue making its way eastward. I don't see anything out ahead of this that would slow it down, but everything that you see from right there to there, that is all tornado. And while it's difficult to gauge the width of this, half a mile would certainly be a conservative estimate. It's probably bigger than that. And the winds in this are going to be extremely powerful. We're going to start getting damage reports in very shortly. I'm sure of that. So again, folks in Chapman, awfully close to this. I'm going to look at the velocity again here and where the storm looks like it's going. And Chapman right there, the rotation on this, getting very close to the town of Chapman. Kansas Falls, you're a few miles away from this. And again, the warning goes till 8:30. So Kansas Falls is 8.7 miles away from this. It's just about, looks like 6 miles away from the Gary County line. And I would expect to see Gary 4 miles away from 6, more like 6 miles away from the Gary County line. But I do expect to see Gary County in a tornado warning shortly. Again, this is moving slowly enough at 20 miles per hour that the Weather Service may not want to issue it too far in advance. Give people an hour to think about it, but I don't know. But I'm confident, given what we're watching on radar and on the live feed here, that we are going to see a tornado warning issued for Gary County in the next few minutes, if not sooner. All right, Matt's adjusting his camera there. Again, if you're in the Chapman area, you got to take cover right now. The Chapman area, you've got to take cover right now as that storm moves towards you. If you are in the western parts of Gary County, if you're in the Junction City area, you guys that are around Junction City, Ogden, Fort Riley, I'd really recommend you get prepared to take cover in those areas. If you're in a mobile home around Junction City or western parts of Gary County, you may want to get out of there now before the storm would come in. I'm not saying for everybody to get on the roads and take off. That's not what I'm advising. But what I'm saying is for folks, if you are in a mobile home, this is the time to think about where you're going to go, and if you're going to do it. Get your shoes ready. If you were in a situation where your home was hit by a tornado, you don't want to have to come out of the debris in bare feet. So you need to have your shoes on. Also have a safe place picked. If you don't have one already, you should be picking one immediately and be ready for this to come through. Western parts of Gary County, it looks like it's coming your direction. Again, this video is from Severe Studios, Matt McCune, our storm chaser there near Chapman. And this thing's been on the ground for quite a while, a big, powerful tornado. And now that the sun is starting to get closer to setting, we're going to get less and less of high-quality views of this. We'll get some views of it, but once in a while, it's going to be hard to see. And Matt's adjusting his camera right there. You can see is changing the white balance and trying to get a better look because as the sun starts setting, you get different light, then that's what he's going to be dealing with is a harder to see tornado. There it is. Okay, now we can see it since he's adjusted his camera there. The left edge of the tornado is right there in this part of your screen, and it's still a big, powerful wedge tornado on the ground. And again, this is moving very close to the town of Chapman, if not right into Chapman right now. Okay, so back over to the other radar, Junction City. You guys are getting awfully close to this thing. Capital Federal Live Storm Tracker here, and looking from the Junction City area to the west, you can really see that rotation is starting to get close. Kansas Falls is about 8 miles out ahead of this, And it looks like that rotation again right in here, just almost right on Chapman at this point. And the upland area, you're going to be dealing with large hail from this. Sutphen, Moonlight dealing with large hail from this right now. We may have some damage. I'm sure we have damage in this area between Moonlight and Detroit and Chapman. I'm sure we've got some sort of damage in this area. I don't know what it is at this point, obviously. We'll be learning about that shortly, I'm sure. But areas that are right here in the eastern part of Dickinson County, you are still in the tornado warning right now that goes until 8:30 p.m. And then we're going to be looking at most likely a warning issued for the western parts of Gary County. It may even affect the northwest part of Morris County, but maybe not, judging by how narrow the warnings have been so far. The National Weather Service probably going to keep this in the western part of Gary County. But if you're in Junction City, don't be surprised if you hear those tornado sirens or outdoor warning sirens sounding soon. I would fully expect that in that area. Ian, I'm going to ask you a question real quick. Would you check with Nick and see if that Facebook feed is still rolling or if it kicked off after 90 minutes? It may have done that. I just want to see if that's still available for folks just in case, especially the dangerous situation like this. But again, Chapman, this is very close to, if not right on top of Chapman right now. And Junction City, I really think we're going to have a tornado warning issued for Junction City in the western part of Gary County very shortly. All right, back over to the tornado video. This is a live video from Matt McCune near Chapman, and he is looking at the tornado. It's difficult to see right now. Again, he's been adjusting the coloring on his camera so that he can see it at different times. As the sun goes down, the light changes. It's difficult to pick it out, but every time we've looked back at this and he's adjusted it, you could see the big wedge tornado still on the ground. All right, report now. We have catastrophic threat, a confirmed large and dangerous tornado located just west of Chapman moving east at 15. So the National Weather Service confirming this, that they have a large destructive tornado just west of Chapman moving east at 15 miles per hour. So in the city of Chapman, you've got to be taking cover right now. Please take cover if you're in Chapman in that area. You are directly in the path of this, and it is likely to do damage around the town of Chapman. Difficult to pick it out there on this camera with the color palette he has right now with the sun setting the way it is. But if you're in Chapman, lowest level of the building, you've got to get away from windows. Even if the tornado doesn't strike directly, strong straight line winds, a rear flank downdraft can break out windows. Hail can break out windows. You do not want to be cut up by that, even if it doesn't hit the house directly, like I said. Windows certainly can be broken and that you can get cut. Get under something sturdy. Cover your head as this comes through. But if you're in Chapman, close to Chapman, you've got to take cover right now as this comes through. Again, there's the live video from Matt McCune looking at the storm. And it looks like this has become rain-wrapped at this time, but still a very large tornado near the town of Chapman, near Junction City at this time, and moving east at about 15 miles per hour. Our camera is moving there again. There it is. Okay, now you can see it better on the left side of the screen. This is the edge of the tornado right over here, and Chapman going to be there kind of in the middle of your screen over the horizon. So for folks that are in Chapman, this is very close. I'm not sure if it's going directly through town, but it is awfully close to the city of Chapman right now. And for folks in the Junction City area, you know that is not very far from you, that this will be coming your way as well. So on the radar, I'm going to take this back over to our Capitol Federal live storm tracker. There's the storm. You can see the rotation fairly well here on this, and the bright reds up against the bright greens indicating where the rotation would be. And that's it. Really, this is right over the city of Chapman, or just west of the city of Chapman. And looks to me like it's going to go at least through part of town at this point. So for folks there, my goodness, please take cover right now if you're there. If you're in Kansas Falls, if you're in Junction City, or anywhere in western parts of Gary County, that is the tornado right there on radar, and it is moving east, and the reported motion has been 15 to 20 miles per hour. Not a fast-moving storm, but it is a huge and a very powerful storm. All right, back over to the live video, And this is what we have from our storm chaser. There it is. And that is easy to pick out where the tornado is now. He's got the lighting readjusted here. Go ahead.
They've now confirmed this is, I mean, we know this is tornado emergency for Chapman based off of this situation.
Okay, so we see tornado emergencies issued maybe twice a year tops. So we have a tornado emergency that's been now issued for the Chapman area. So that means the Weather Service believes they have a large tornado going into a populated area. So that does not happen very often. But Matt McCune's video right here, again, this is live right now. The camera zoomed in a little too far there. He'll zoom this right back out. But you could see the rotation on this. That is all tornado on the horizon here. That's a huge tornado going through the city of Chapman, or very close to Chapman right now. We have a tornado emergency that has been issued for the city of Chapman. You see tornado warnings often. You see tornado watches often. You don't see tornado emergencies issued very often. That's only when the National Weather Service believes that a large tornado is going to go through a highly populated area. And I believe right now Chapman is taking the brunt of a large tornado. And we're going to have to look and see what sort of damage we have there, and see who's okay and who's been harmed by this. But this is a bad night in the eastern part of Dickinson County. And I'm telling you, if you are in the western part of Gary County, as the sun goes down, we're going to have a harder time seeing the tornado. We're fortunate to have a view of this to see how big it is and give you a heads up of where it's going. But as the sun goes down, we're not going to be able to see this as well. But that is the tornado itself right there, moving into Chapman, if not near Chapman. And our storm chaser, Matt McCune, with a live video right now looking at that storm. So again, if you're in Chapman, you know, I'm encouraging you as much as I possibly can, and you're probably already doing this, but if you're in Chapman, my goodness, please take cover right now. Don't go outside. We don't need pictures of this. We don't need video of this from anybody there. We need you safe as you can possibly be. So just get inside, get in your basement, get under something, cover your head, protect yourself, protect your family as this moves through the Chapman area. This is a big, terrible storm, and you can see it again there on this live video feed. There's the right edge of the tornado. That's the left edge of the tornado. I can't gauge how big it is just from looking at this from the Storm Chaser video, but you know, to say this is a half-mile wide might be conservative. It might be bigger than that. It is difficult to estimate that just from looking at the storm there on the Chaser footage, but that is a huge tornado, and it is on the ground right now, and it is right on top of the town of Chapman, if not very, very close, and it's going to be moving close to the western edge of Gary County shortly. There's the right edge of the tornado, and you can see this every frame as it continues to move a little farther to the right, a little bit farther out of your shot. Now there's the other edge of the tornado. So everything here is tornado on the ground right now. And again, it's difficult to estimate the width of it or how strong the winds are in there, but certainly easy to say that's a big tornado going through what looks to be a populated area, and a lot of people are in a lot of danger right now. Okay, I'm going to take you back to the radar, and let's look at, wow, it's just a huge tornado. You just don't see this very often.
Yeah, this is not a common event, especially in a populated area.
All right, so back to the radar, our Capital Federal live storm tracker, looking at the velocity mode here. What I'm going to see is the velocity on this. Again, this is just right over Chapman at this time with the velocity showing up there. And I mentioned this before a couple of times, that what you'll see is the rotation, where the red means that the radar returns are going out away from the radar. The radar is located near Alma, and the green is toward the radar. So right here, that's your spin, and it's right on top of the town of Chapman right now. Very close to Interstate 70 right now. If you had any plans to travel from the Junction City area going west, don't go that way. You just can't get through there. I'm not sure if KDOT has closed I-70 at this point, but if they have not closed I-70, certainly the tornado would do it. You would not be able to get through there at all right now. That tornado is likely on I-70 or close to it, and very close to the town of Chapman as well right now. Okay, back on board with our live storm chaser. Again, Matt McCune is right on this, and he's looks like he is heading down I-70 right now, and it looks like the tornado would be, he's going to be traveling eastbound. I can't tell. Does it say what town that is?
He said Mink Road, I-70.
Okay. Text. Give that to news. Give that to news and have them get those pictures up. I can't do it. It's going to have to be up to them to share that. What town? They said it's Mink Road and I-70?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was June 12, 2008 when we had Chapman and Manhattan hit by the tornado. And so that was when we went through this back in June 12th. And a lot of you certainly remember that day and that coverage that we had with the tornado that went through Chapman back on that day. All right, so right now we do have reports of damage coming in. You said near Mink Road. Okay,
yeah, there's
Chapman.
also reports of farm damage west of Chapman on Old 40. Yeah, the National Weather Service just issued the tornado warning. They have it. The extremely dangerous tornado moving east at 15 miles per hour. This is now 1 mile south of Chapman. This is where the tornado is located. There are power lines blocking Old 40 west of Chapman as well. So already seeing some the damage reports that Jeremy said that he was expecting to see. We're starting to get those reports in as the storm moves. This tornado moves through more populated areas.
So now Junction City is in the tornado warning. So we have Junction City in the new tornado warning, and this new warning. Let me see that. All right, thank you. I'll call for that if we're going to do it. Okay, Denny. Okay, so now we have Junction City in the new tornado warning. We'll check out the attributes on this. So we're looking at 9 p.m. So tornado warning for Junction City, also Kansas Falls, all the western parts of Gary County. You are in the tornado warning. There is a large confirmed tornado making its way just east of Chapman now into the extreme eastern part of Dickinson County, and then ultimately this is going to be very close to I-70 and heading toward Junction City. So Junction City, this looks like they've actually sped up the motion at this time. Ian, what was the speed on this?
It was moving
20?
miles per hour.
Okay. All right, so we're looking at Junction City may still have 20 minutes before this would arrive. We'll go ahead and look at the time of arrival here as the storm makes its way to the east. And we'll go ahead and take it through Junction City at maybe 8:55 is what we're looking at as the time of arrival for Junction City. Melissa, you have something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a few seconds on the phone with the Dickinson County Emergency Manager, Chancey Smith. He said basically it is chaos in that area right now. He said they know there are at least 20 homes that are destroyed throughout the county, mostly north of Abilene. Right now, they're trying to determine if there are some people trapped. They are out extremely busy in Dickinson County trying to deal with the situation. But again, what we do know from the Emergency Management Director, we don't know yet if there are any injuries, but he does know at least 20 homes destroyed throughout Dickinson County and another tornado on the ground headed toward Chapman.
Okay. So that second one has a tornado with it as well now. Okay. All right. Very well. So we have a couple of tornadoes, it sounds like now, but this first one, the biggest one that we were dealing with, looks like it's moving into the western part of Gary County. Junction City is included in that tornado warning, and I will check the velocity mode here and see where this is going. And it looks like the velocity on this right here, this bright red against the bright green, that is the location of the monster wedge tornado that we've been watching now for about an hour. Okay, one tornado. Okay. Okay, thank you guys. All right, that's what I thought. All right, look at this live storm chaser video again. My goodness, again, this is a storm chaser. He is now going to be east of Chapman. This thing is still on the ground, and it is still huge. But Matt McCune from Severe Studios is following this for us, and that's the view right now. That's not an hour ago. That's not old footage. That's live video from near Chapman, east of Chapman, and this is going to be near the Gary County line. I don't know which road Matt is on at this time, but he's giving us a good idea of how big that tornado is. There's the side of it. I think this is the other side of it here. It's difficult to tell, but that is still a huge tornado. It's been on the ground for a long time. Melissa Bruner just telling us they have at least 20 homes across Dickinson County that have been destroyed by this thing, and the reports of injuries, we don't have that yet. Certainly the first responders are going to deal with taking care of the people before they ever bother telling us any of those numbers or who's okay and who's not. It's that they will focus on taking care of those people, and they'll let us know what they need to later. But right now, what we want to let you know is if you're in the path of this, there's a monster tornado making its way east of Chapman now and heading toward towns like Kansas Falls and I believe is it Reeford? Do you know how to pronounce that one? All right, so we'll go with Reeford and in western parts of Gary County, but Junction City, you should be taking cover right now. That's the storm that's moving towards you in the western parts of Gary County. There's the satellite and radar showing the storms and becoming a little more widespread right now. But again, the worst one is the storm that's heading toward areas like Junction City and the western sections of Gary County. So if you are in that area, if you're in Junction City, if you're in Kansas Falls, if you're in western Gary County near I-70, please take cover right now. Got to get away from windows. Put as many walls you can between you and the storm. I just call it playing the wall game in any building I'm in. I think, how many walls can I put between me and the outside? And if the answer is 1, then the storm only has to get through 1 wall to get to you. If you can put 2 walls between you and the outside, the storm has to do more work. And by the time, if you have a 3rd wall or an interior bathroom, those kind of things, more walls will offer you more protection. So the farther you can get behind those walls, the better off you are protecting yourself from the tornado. But again, Matt looking at this video, and you can see this thing. I can't tell if it's on the ground at this point. It looks like it likely is, but again, as we start getting closer and closer to sunset and the storm becomes rain-wrapped at times, it's a little more difficult to see. You know, I just can't confirm from looking at that video if this thing's still on the ground or not.
I haven't seen anything on Twitter of anyone confirming or any image. I haven't seen any images of it now as we've gotten closer to.
And I'm just not sure from looking at this video. I'm not saying it's gone or that's weakened in any way. I'm just saying I can't tell from that video if the thing has weakened at all. All right, I'm going to take it back over to the velocity mode on GR, and I can tell you from what I'm seeing here on this velocity mode that I do not think this is off the ground. I think this is still very likely on the ground producing damage. This is where it would be, just southeast of Chapman, right there, this bright blue against this bright red here. That's going to be the tornado just south of I-70, making its way eastward. And this does have, you know, again, from the video I was having a hard time seeing with it rain wraps, but from this velocity mode I can tell you it looks like that is certainly still on the ground right now. Looking at the correlation coefficient here, and what this is looking at is whether or not the particles in the atmosphere are different sizes. It's called the correlation coefficient. And what we're seeing right here where all these blue chunks are located, that is likely debris that's in the air right now showing up on the radar. So that's what the dual pole radars will now do, is pick up things like whether or not there's actual debris in the air. Also, there's a very well-defined inflow notch out ahead of the tornado. And again, this is very likely still on the ground, heading for towns like Kansas Falls. Looks like the current path may take it south of Junction City. Not sure at this point, but looks like the current path right now, keeping it just a little bit south of Interstate 70. I'm going to go back over to our Storm Chaser video. Looks like this is not quite as obscured by the rain now. Go ahead.
There's also a new severe thunderstorm warning that is not this directly associated thunderstorm as well, north in parts of, it looks like Clay County has a severe thunderstorm with 2-inch sized hail, and this is just north of this immediate cell. You can see the general track of this cell, the storm that is to the north, as you pull up that image. Let's see here.
All right, your mic's not on, it's all right. Okay, so there's another severe storm warning just to the north of this one, and it has hail that could be up to 2 inches in diameter. That is just north of this severe storm cell with the tornado with it. So again, a confirmed tornado with this thing that's moving into the western parts of Gary County, and then to the north we have a separate storm cell right here, and this one near Clay Center at this time has a possibility of having a large hail with it.
Why don't you put that in motion and then expand out and show the movement of this storm compared to the one that is tornado warned? You can see that there is a difference in motion between these two. So we do have more of a south and east movement with this tornado warning cell, and the other one is moving to the northeast there.
Okay, and that's what we'll see sometimes is when the storms do start to rotate, they'll tend to turn a little more right than other storms. Once they start to spin, they'll tend to actually pull themselves along to the right sometimes. So that's what we're seeing with this one. And again, the rotation looks like it's a little east of Chapman at this time, making its way into the western part of Gary County. So we'll go back over to our live Storm Chaser video feed, and here's what he has. And that's Matt McCune just east of Chapman, and the storm making its way into the western part of Gary County at this time. And again, this has been on the ground for quite a while. We have this new severe storm warning, actually an update on the severe storm warning for hail the size of 2 inches in diameter for the western part of Dickinson County as well at this point. So we have several warnings in place, one of them being the tornado warning that's in place with this across the western part of Gary County, and then we also have large hail making its way into parts of Clay County at this time. So back on the radar, we'll try to give you a couple of the times of arrival here as the storm is making its way eastward. It's been moving fairly slow, but we do have several spots where it's been confirmed. And again, we have at least 20 homes that have been damaged or destroyed across parts of Dickinson County from this. The path of the tornado, it started off over here just southeast of Bennington, and then made its way into Dickinson County, just north of Abilene, tracked over to Chapman. I believe we're going to have some damage reports from here, and then actually working its way into the western part of Gary County now. Go ahead.
All right, the latest update on this specific storm with the tornado is that it's 4 miles east and southeast of Chapman. And this is now picking up a little bit of speed, moving east at 25 miles per hour, the storm itself. And within this cell itself, it also has 2.5-inch sized hail, which would be tennis ball sized hail there. And this tornado warning continues until 9 p.m. and now it does include Dickinson and Geary County. So why don't we show them the image of the warning box.
Yeah, there's the warning box right there.